What's poppin', beautiful people? Welcome in. Welcome in. We are here to go over 90 Day The Single Life. This is the tell-all part 2. It's finally over. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I am so happy that this season is over. A lot did happen this season, but I also kind of felt like not a lot happened. Just the general cast they picked also wasn't the most likable batch from the 90 Day crew. But we are going to dig into the tell all. As always, I do want to encourage everybody, tap in with the links in the description of this video. There are links to how you can collaborate with me if you're another creator or have a brand that you'd like me to showcase. There are also links for you guys to follow me on social media and links to other great creators description or channels in the description of this video. And I also hope that you guys do consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, all of those good things, because it does actually help us little YouTubers such as myself. And a big welcome to all of our new subscribers, and a big thank you to everybody who is subscribed or who just simply stops by to watch our videos. But let's get into the tell-all. So we last left off with Kim kind of feeling a way towards Liz because she found out that Liz slept with Jamal, and Jamal is Kim's son, for those who do not know. Now, I do understand why Kim is upset, considering that I was not aware that Kim was this close to Liz. If they're so close to like where they're telling secrets and talking every day, that I can understand the need or the want to know what's going on, or to at least get a heads up versus finding out on camera. I totally understand that part. But Liz lets us know that she thought that Kim knew that this had happened. And Kim says that she simply was expecting Liz to tell her ahead of time. So Kim says and asks Liz, like, how can she trust Liz to not tell Jamal her secrets? And then I start to figure out, I said, oh, this is about the adoption. So Kim, it sounds like Liz and Jamal slept together before anything came out about the adoption, or Kim was even looking into it. But it sounds like Kim had a concern of Liz telling her secrets to Jamal. But now that everything's done, it's like, Kim, you know that Jamal did not know prior to you saying anything. So can you really fully blame Liz? I don't know. I felt like Kim didn't really have a reason to be upset with Liz. Like, I can understand her being a little uncomfortable, a little bothered by it, but they slept together. They're not getting back together. It sounds like it was a one-time thing. So I don't see what the problem is. But they do eventually make peace, which I was glad about. I don't think something like this is really worth the friendship. And we move on to some weird topics. This whole segment was weird because Liz just got into it with Kim about sleeping with Jamal. She's discussing Via and how she felt like she fell in love with him. And she's doing all of this in front of Alec, who is her new man. I just found it to be weird. Like, Liz is kind of moving like a 304, if y'all get what I'm trying to put down. And I like Liz. I'm actually a fan of Liz. But Liz's dating history, like, slow it down, ma. Like, slow down. You got a lot going on. You got a lot going on. And with Liz, the reason I'm saying, like, she needs to slow it down is off the fact that she is dealing with a lot of people, but there's feelings involved with all of them. Like, she claims to love Alec and no one's treated her as good as him. She was falling in love with Via. The Jamal seems to be the only one that was just sex, but it's like, this is a lot. She has a lot going on. So we then learned that Liz unfollowed Via, and she says that the only reason she unfollowed Via was to make Alec, her new fiance, comfortable. I can understand that, considering she went out there, took forever to tell Via that she had someone back at home, and obviously her and Alec weren't solid. Next, Ross asked her, as well as some of the cast members, they asked Liz, like, are you happy with the choice that you made in terms of the man? And Liz took a minute to answer the question while holding Alec's hand. I mean, there was a very long pause. And it was just strange. Her and Via admitting they fell for each other in front of her. The pause, in my opinion, let me know if you guys felt this way in the chat. I personally felt like Liz needs to be with Via, but she chose Alec. Like, I feel like she does feel like she made the wrong choice, but she's going to go with the choice that she's in. But I said to myself, I said, Alec must have money, baby, because Via is also more attractive. No shade, no shade, no shade. But I'm just calling it like it is. But, whatever it is, when Alec left the stage, she didn't even let him kiss her. She was like, lip gloss. I don't feel like she's that into him. I feel like there's a lot of issues there. I don't feel like it'll work. But we watched Liz stay with Ed for much too long. And I just feel like Liz is one of those people who may never get it as it relates to dating. But I still very much so like Liz, and I wish her the best. I really do. I really, really do. Let me know how you guys felt about Liz this season, especially since it's the last episode of the season. Also, rate the season. How do you guys feel this season was? If you were to rate it on a scale of 1 to 3, with 3 being the best season of 90 Day to Single Life you've seen it, what would you rate it? I'm going to give it a 1.5 because I'm not that impressed with this season. But we're going to move into Courtney, Sophie, and Liz talking backstage. They're talking about this Kim issue. Pretty much everybody agrees that Kim knew about Jamal and Liz, but it sounds like Kim needed to hear, like, I slept with this man. We had intercourse in order to know what was going on. But I also kind of call BS on Kim. If you knew that Liz and Jamal made out, why wouldn't it be possible, or the potential for them to sleep together? Why would that not cross your mind? Like, sometimes I feel like Kim be BSing, and I really don't like that. I feel like she might have done this just for a moment, but they made up. So we gonna move it on to the Hot Mess Express. That is Gino. Gino is a disaster. We saw a lot happen with him and Natalie this season. But before we get into Natalie, he does discuss his new friendship, we cannot say relationship, with this young lady that is named Lexi. We saw him kind of talking to Lexi and getting to know her at the beginning of the season, and they claim to be more than friends, but then they also don't have a lot going on that makes me think that. He says that the issue with Lexi is that she still lives with her baby daddy. And it seems like Gino was unclear on if they are still a couple. He was unclear if they have sex. He was unclear if they sleep in the same bedroom. I think they still sleep together, because if they were in a relationship and their kid had a room, why would they just have more bedrooms than they need? Like, especially in this economy, I don't buy it, not one bit. I just do not. I feel like this girl is probably on a break from her baby daddy. They're probably still living together because they probably can't afford to move. And I feel like she's just talking to Gino for entertainment. But I don't think she wants him, but maybe she's trying to get something out of him. Something about Lexi just did not rub me right, if I'm being entirely honest. Like, something about her definitely threw me all sorts of off. But, Gino says that the reason that Lexi is living with her baby daddy and is not leaving and moving out is not because of income. He says that Lexi is living with him because she does not want to break up her family. Gino. She says she doesn't want to break up her family. To have a family means mommy and daddy are still together. Like, your head is big as hell, but obviously very empty. Can you turn on the light? Thank you. It was dark, y'all. I had to get the light right. But I just feel like Gino is not thinking worth a damn. He's just more so concerned with having somebody, I think, for the sake of the show or something to talk about. I don't understand why he would sit in something like this, but he didn't want to make it work with Natalie. Now, Natalie comes up and we see the discussion and the things that Natalie had to say about Gino on Between the Sheets, which is like pillow talk. They're talking about the episodes and how they felt about things. And Natalie pretty much said some negative stuff about Gino. She says she feels like he manipulated her. He played a game, and she's not happy with him. And she's also not interested in seeing him, which I could totally understand. And Kim snapped, saying that she talks to Natalie regularly and that Gino plays games. And Kim mentioned Usman and the situation with Natalie's daughter, because they spoke about how Natalie's daughter did not want her mom to date Gino. And Gino then dumped her shortly after that. And Kim brings up how Usman changed after Jamal left when they visited, because Jamal saw through his BS. So I do kind of feel like Gino didn't want to make the effort when it came to her daughter and things like that. But Gino's also someone who lacks accountability. he acts very surprised that Natalie feels this way about him, but I feel like he had to have known. Now, later, Gino's bald-headed ex-wife, Jasmine, comes out, and Jasmine's a beautiful lady. She is. She is. I don't understand. She says she had alopecia, but I could have swore she had a nice head of hair. But either way, Jasmine comes out, and I'm like, why is this lady here? Gino and Jasmine, this is a saga that's been going on since what, like season 4? Like, at what point does it end? When are they getting a divorce? What is taking so long? I don't understand it. They come out, as soon as Jasmine comes out, Gino is trolling Jasmine and upset. He's like, now your hair looks like mine, huh? Yeah, Gino, except the difference is she looked good, ball. You look crazy. You look like you could be an alien extra in Men in Black. You look all sorts of crazy. You can't come for her bald head. And that shows you what type of person Gino is. He tries to make it seem like he's so sweet and just always getting wronged conveniently. But as soon as Jasmine came out there, he trolled her. He started it. Not love everyone to remember that. So Gino eventually gets upset with things that Jasmine is saying. And Gino says that nothing Jasmine says matters because she never intended to be with him and that she used him for a green card. Panama, the place that Jasmine is from, is one of the number one places that American expats choose to go. Expat being expatriate, for those who do not know. Panama is also a place that has good health care. They don't have like a horrible quality of life. Gino's making it seem like this lady is like desperate for a green card and one of them people trying to illegally cross a border or something. And I did not like that he was doing that. Like, you cannot say that someone never intended to be with you. When she did, she tried. Like, yes, Jasmine has her issues too, but I don't feel like she used him. I don't. I feel like they're doing too much and still have feelings for each other, and that's why they still do this. But Gino's friend, Lexi, we're gonna call the girl a friend. She comes in on a little telemonitor and she says that she feels like Gino was ganged up on while at this tell-all. And when Liz asked Lexi about her baby daddy and asked if she still wants to be with him, Lexi would not answer any clear questions. Some of the things she could not question or could not answer clearly was, are you still having sex? And then she says she's not in a relationship with Gino as well. I said, Gino, what is this? So you guys are talking. She lives with her baby daddy. She wants to keep her family. She took forever to answer whether she was having sex or not. Like, it doesn't seem like this woman is too interested in this man. But for whatever reason, Gino is okay with this red flag. Now, Jasmine steps in and Jasmine asks Lexi, she says, do you have issues with your body? Do you have body image issues or feel a way about yourself? And Jasmine says, the reason I'm asking you that is because I had that too. And I think that's part of the reason why I was in a relationship and dealing with Gino. It looked like Lexi was agreeing with Jasmine. I said, my God. And Jasmine was petty. She was messing with Gino. She said, now I'm going to be her friend. And we saw that she was saying very good things to, we saw that she was saying very good things about, what is her name? About Natalie online. So I'm like, Jasmine is obviously just trying to fuck with Gino. And honestly, I'm totally fine with it. Because obviously Gino lies a lot and his new relationship is like some sort of a joke and also some form of BS, in my personal opinion. But let me know how y'all feel in the chat. They do ask Lexi if she's interested in pursuing a more serious relationship with Gino. And Lexi says that she is willing to look into a relationship and something more serious with Gino once she moves out and gets a place of her own. That girl ain't leaving that man. She's not. I don't trust Lexi, but I also don't trust Gino. I'm not quite sure how to feel about the situation, but something about all of it is just very off. But we're going to get into backstage because we thinking the segment's over, but you know, for the tell all on 90 Day, they like to show us what's going on backstage, which I totally appreciate. And Jasmine is talking with the cast about Gino. She has good relationships with a lot of the cast members. And Gino overhears him talking about him. And he seems to think that Jasmine cares that he is with Lexi. He thinks she's jealous. I'm like, Jasmine has moved on, has a new man, has a baby. She doesn't care. And I think that's the part that bothers Gino. The lady don't care. I think she cares to a little bit just to make him as miserable as he made her, but I don't think she wants Gino back or cares if he moves on, if I'm being honest. We're going to get into Gino went backstage. All of the women confront him and they're like, you really haven't admitted fault. You just say that it's Jasmine. Can you admit that you've made a mistake? And this fool says, yeah, the mistake I made was marrying this one. Gino, go to hell. That's why you 56 and alone with a bald head that's awkward and got to wear these stupid ass hats. Go somewhere, Gino. Go to the bush and weep. It's too much. I don't think Gino's going to figure it out till he is over Jasmine. I don't understand why Gino is the way he is. I do think that Gino could utilize therapy. I don't think he's a bad person. I think he's awful in relationships, though. I really, really do. But we're going to get into Courtney and Colt, aka the Hot Mess Express and the 66-year-old OG. Colt thinks Courtney and Philip are not in a good space in their relationship. Philip comes out onto the stage, and before we could even get into things, if I was Courtney, I'd be mad. She says that when Philip met her, he thought that she was 40. She is my age. She do kind of look 40 though. I'm sorry. And I feel like maybe that's why Colt wasn't that into her, because she looks older than her age. Maybe that's it. Beautiful girl, but it is what it is. Now, Courtney explains because Colt tries to accuse her of using Philip for like a sugar baby relationship. And Courtney explains that her parents have done well and she has been investing in things since she was 16 years old so that she will never have to depend on a man, which I believe and I also respect. And Courtney says that she does well financially. According to Phil, he said Courtney paid for all the furniture in the house. She takes care of her own business. Good for her. I believe it. Now, we also learn, and I'm just going to bullet point this shit, y'all. I am not going to go over each and every little thing because Courtney and Colt's segment was a mess and just went on and on and on. But we learned that Courtney and Phil did have a little breakup for a couple of months. They separated and broke up. The reason was because of Courtney and Colt's friendship. She felt the need to like take care of him, help him, all those crazy things. During that time, apparently, Courtney and Colt were talking and they didn't really get back together, but she did run back to him, which I kind of suspected she would do, but nothing came of it. The whole cast did hold Colt accountable. I was actually impressed with Sophie because Colt kept trying to act like he was so innocent. And Sophie was like, no, fool, you cheated. You never want to own nothing. And you do this to every woman. You have no argument. And then in this situation, you cheated in the worst possible way. You cheated on this girl while she was literally nursing you back to health in the bedroom of her parents. Do that to one of them women in Brazil and watch one of their brothers tear your ass up. Like, Colt knows what he's doing. But the cast did hold him accountable. And Colt says that the reason he cheated is because he had problems in his relationship. And I asked Colt, if you have problems in your relationship, why would you add another problem by cheating? Like, that doesn't even make sense. Ding dong. It's not clicking. Like, something's really, really wrong with him. But Kim tries to explain to Colt how that's a problem. And he got mad and cursed at Kim and was like, God damn it, y'all taking over my segment. I said, you narcissistic big ass bitch. What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you, Colt? What's actually wrong with you? You are the most vile, disgusting, just ill put together little boy that we've ever seen, because we cannot call Colt a man. Having a job and the ability to pay your bills does not make you a man. Not in the eyes of a woman, not in the eyes of yourself. Colt ain't shit. I'm just looking like, why are you screaming at the older lady? Relax. Why are you screaming at women in general? If you don't want to be questioned, then don't cheat. Change your behavior. Do better. And if his mama would fucking tell him the truth about himself instead of babying him, maybe he could get somewhere. But I really think with Colt, it's just too little too late. I don't think he'll ever change as it relates to his relationship. But after he has his little meltdown over the segment, Diana, who we now learn her name is pronounced Gianna, comes on the screen. And Courtney reveals as soon as she comes onto the screen to Diana that Colt has been DMing other women in Canada. He's been trying to sleep with women. And Gianna claimed that she don't believe it because she says that Courtney claims that she don't want Colt, but is also still trying to get with Colt on the low and in the background. And Courtney's like, that is not true. And they show some texts, which were damning. And that's why you should just not text your ex. But we have to remember these texts were sent during the time that Courtney and Colt were broken up. So I'm okay with it. But I just felt like the Courtney and Colt thing, they went back and forth so much that it almost seemed like Courtney and Colt still have feelings for each other, but they know they can't deal with each other because he not gonna stop cheating. And, you know, yeah, pretty much he not gonna stop cheating. But, the mess is messing because in addition to the messages from Courtney, there are also other messages from the woman from Canada that Courtney alleged that I guess Diana has known about. And Diana does say that she does believe that Colt might be cheating on her, but she says that because she loves him, she wants to have hope that he's not. But you could tell that Diana is hurting, and I do feel for her. Colt asked Courtney why she was blowing up his life, and he's upset with Courtney because he feels like he's telling his girlfriend how he cheats. And he says, you're making her cry and you're ruining my life. But Colt, if you didn't give her the content, she wouldn't be able to say anything to this woman. If you were faithful to this woman, then Courtney wouldn't have nothing to say. Colt likes to find other people to blame for stuff that he has done. He tries to gaslight people, but he's terrible at it. And I'm just going to say this is clear that Colt has not changed. It's very clear he has not changed. After the segment, they do end up, having problems with Colt. Like at the end of the tell-all, I will get into that at the end of this. We're going to move into discussing Liz, Sophie, and Julia's girls trip drama that happened because of Pedro. So if y'all think back to the beginning of the season, Liz, Sophie, and Julia all went to the Dominican Republic because Sophie and Liz were single, getting rid of a toxic relationship. They wanted to have a girls trip and make peace. They did have beef at the last tell-all that they did together, though. So it was kind of like a big step toward a new friendship for them. Now, Liz pretty much, they show the footage, and Sophie literally bullied and attacked Liz, and Julia sided with her. They ganged up on Liz, which was not okay. All because they thought that Liz sabotaged Sophie's relationship with Pedro. I never thought Liz sabotaged it. Why? Because Sophie was wishy-washy on her own. And even with Liz far removed from them and dealing with Via, Sophie fucked up that relationship on her own because Sophie doesn't know what she's doing and was not ready to date. But Sophie at that time was trying to blame Liz for it. We watched her do the absolute most. Now, when they show the clip, Pedro provided Sophie with information saying that Liz said more than she actually said. And what they end up doing is instead of apologizing and taking accountability for how they treated Liz, they blame Pedro and said, well, you misconstrued it to me. Two things can be true at the same time. Yes, Pedro misconstrued the message, likely because English is his second language, so I won't fully fault him for that. But the other thing that's true is your reaction was not appropriate. It did not match what Liz gave you. And you shouldn't have get that mad over a man that you didn't even really want, Sophie. So you had your friend fucked up and you broke girl code. And Julia, you a weak ass bitch too for going along and ganging up on somebody who didn't need to gang up on. Then these chicks were sitting there and Julia and Sophie go, well, you guys make us look like mean girls now because they think we attacked Liz. But it was Pedro's fault. You still shouldn't have responded that way. Even if Liz did tell Pedro that, Sophie didn't want him. And he was figuring it out. So no matter which way they cut it, Julia and Sophie are some weak bitches. They're mean. And it's not necessary. And then for y'all to get mad at Liz because she didn't want to hang out with you after that, she said the girls' trip was horrible after that. And Kim was the person she called on the phone. She was upset. Like she came all the way to another country for two girls to gang up on her. She don't know nobody. Like they didn't take accountability. In my opinion, Sophie and Julia needed to just give like a heartfelt apology and say, looking back, I was wrong and I shouldn't have overreacted. I should have listened, because Sophie was not listening to her. She was not listening. She kept cutting her off. And Liz did apologize at one point once she explained that something did come to Pedro. And she still chose to follow her around a restaurant, go off, threaten her, do the most. Where I'm from, if a bitch responded the way Sophie did, somebody would have got hit. Like, Sophie did too much and Julia was a follower. Weak bitch. So I don't like how they moved, but I'm glad that they're able to move past it. But Liz, them ain't your friends. Stick to Kim. Those are not your friends. Stick to Kim. Let Sophie and Julia have whatever they have. Stick to Kim, please. But the last thing we see before we end this review is after the tell-all, they're wrapped filming. Colt says he feels attacked after coming off the stage because everybody held him accountable. So he gets off stage and he calls Diana, and production is still with Diana and Brazil. And they are saying to Diana, why aren't you answering Colt's calls? And she's like, because I know he cheated on me. I have the proof. It sounds like she just didn't want to admit it publicly. At TLC, you ain't shit to still air this. Y'all ain't shit to still air this. But Diana says she knows she has to be done with Colt. She believes that he cheated, ignores his phone call. Courtney tries to calm Colt down and talk to him, but Colt is upset at her for his actions. It's looking like he may not have a girlfriend anymore. Good. Sayonara, Colt. I'm tired of Colt. Don't bring Colt back. I'm tired of Natalie. I think we need a break from Gino. I would like a break from Sophie as well. And now that Liz has someone, I would take a break. Even if Liz breaks up with Alec, I'm tired of seeing Liz on 90 Day. Let's cycle in some new people. I'm tired of the same drama. What I will say, this season, I wasn't the most impressed, but I was entertained. I think The Single Life is one of those 90-day franchises that's not really needed. I think they could find another way to amp up the format. We don't always need to see them dating. It could just be showing former people on 90 Day Fiance who are just living their life single. We don't need to see them dating. Show them going to work, hanging out with family, just their day-to-day. But I do appreciate everybody who watched these reviews. I am a newer YouTuber, so my channel is always growing. With time and subscribers, equipment will improve. Things will improve. We are always growing, but I appreciate you guys for watching and reviewing this season with me. You are always welcome to comment on videos, no matter how old they are. I am always looking out for your comments. If there is a show that you would like me to cover, I also take suggestions on shows, scripted and reality, as well as documentaries. If you want me to cover something, just let me know. You can DM me. You can leave me a comment. You can also send me an email, whatever is comfortable for you guys. We will be replacing this slot next week, I believe, with 90 Day The Last Resort. I am going to be covering that. I'm also covering 90 Day Fiance. We are also adding The Shy, Nemesis, Raising Kanan, Love After Lockup, and This Is Polly to our lineup of reviews this week. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. But other than that, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Go stream Oso B3ST, and I will see you guys next time. Adios. Thank you.